Hi guys, Roscoe here. Welcome to my review of the 1/6 scale Morgul Lord figure from the film The Lord of the Rings by Asmus Toys. Right, let's go take a look at packaging first. Here we have a slim type box, I'd say equal to the size of the original Hot Toys Tony Stark mech test packaging. Similar width to a standard size or a shoebox, except it's probably about 10 to 15 centimeters taller. On the top, got Lord of the Rings, Morgul Lord written there. You have this sort of grey and blue type sponge pattern throughout the box. You have the Elvish writing, which is featured on the ring, or the Land of Mordor sort of text. Lord of the Rings heading. 1/6 scale collectible action figure, Morgul Lord. Not sure why they went with that. He's more often referred to as the Witch King of Angmar, but he still is the Morgul Lord, so it's quite cool. Asmus Toys logo down there, quite small. Now, I'm very excited to get this figure. I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan, and this is my first 1/6 scale Lord of the Rings figure. So I've been waiting for this to be released, and I'm very happy with it, which I'll talk about very soon. So overall, the packaging, pretty simple. It's a shame they didn't put any sort of pictures or artwork of the character, but I'm sure they'll probably keep that all the same throughout the rest of the line, which they're going to do plenty more. On the side, we have the Elvish text once again on a strip, and just like with other sort of figure boxes, you have your warnings and cautions on the back. Right, so as I said, it's a shoebox type box. Once you open the top, you have, instead of clamshells, which we usually get with stuff, sorry about that, we get sort of a foam covering. You remove that, you get another foam tray. Now here's where you have all the hand sculpts. You have your mason chain here, this big foam section to guard the mask or helmet, so the sort of the Sharpie goes through there. So they've kept it very well protected. Lots of foam padding, lots of plastic. So that's what you're greeted with on the top and what you have to take off. So once you remove that, then there's a second layer underneath that, which we have both the display bases, and also it holds the sword and sheath, or both swords. So that's what you can expect inside the box, guys, before you remove everything. So accessories, we get this little sort of instruction leaflet. Doesn't really tell you much. It's basically just about what the figure features. So metal parts, you have to remove the bottoms off the swords, etc. So it's cool that we got one, but yeah, don't really need it that much. Here we have one of the bases you can choose. It's like a standard plastic base. Lord of the Rings there, plastic. Not much on the back. Also comes with the sort of waist clamp, the old style Hot Toys sort of clamp before they went to the crotch stands. So you have one of those, and you got to choose to put it into this or into that one there. Here we have 6 spare hand sculpts. Now, he's quite a crude character, so you can understand why they're all weathered and beaten up and all that. So it's the perfect sort of character to do all this sort of dry brushing and weathering to. Wouldn't say it's factory done, it all looks hand done. So they've done that very nice. Matches the character quite well. So we get a few to choose from. We've got this one that's sort of relaxed. So I've got 2 of those. We get one that's fully clenched. So both those that are clenched. You also get these articulated ones, just similar to the Iron Man figures from Hot Toys. So you can all move and articulate. And they're pretty cool if you want him to do certain poses, but to hold the weapons, you get ones that are also like this but have a hole in it. So you can slide the swords and the mason chain through. So you've got plenty to choose from there. And obviously you get his weapons. Here's his plain sword. So the one we see probably in the Fellowship of the Ring. Also in the Return of the King. Nice weathering and dry brushing there. They've done a good job of replicating it. I have the 1:1 scale replica from United Cutlery. They've done a pretty good job getting it close. Now this is real metal, so it's quite heavy. One thing you've got to be careful about sliding the weapons into the hands. Obviously, because these are hand painted, you know, the metal on these could scratch off the paint, and if you keep putting it in and out, you probably wear it off quite quickly. So expect a little bit of wear on the inside of the clenched hands that hold the weapons, because only is painted on by hand. It's not ingrained into the actual plastic, the actual colouring. And to get them on, this little part here, on all the weapons, so you can get that off, pops off. Okay, so you slide that through the hand, and then put the end back on. Yeah, so that's his plain sword. I'll just show you his flame sword. Now this is the sword he uses, or he lights this up in the extended edition of Return of the King, and he breaks Gandalf the White Staff. So that's quite cool. Detail on that plastic effect. Nice and glossy. Looks very realistic. Or as realistic as you'll get a fire in figure form. And that's the same base as the other sword. And obviously the bottom comes off that as well. So something to keep an eye on, you don't lose those. Get this awesome mason chain. Now that base of that does come off, as I mentioned earlier. And that big part slides through, that's all metal. The chain seems to be like a soft metalish sort of material as well. Nice spikes on the chain, on the links. Looks absolutely awesome. And you have this massive end to it. Now that feels to me like very hard plastic or resin. So it's quite solid. I don't think it's very hollow. It's probably very minutely hollow. So it's quite a solid piece. Here we have his sword sheath. So if you want to slide his normal sword in there, that fits in quite easily. You slide through these two hangers on the belt. So it looks quite cool. And lastly here we have that themed diorama base, which is nothing special, a lot of detail on it, but very sort of like dual tone colouring. Seems like solid resin. It's very heavy. Has very nice labelling on the bottom. Sorry I can't show you guys, it's quite heavy with the figure on as well, but looks really good how they've painted that on the base underneath. So that's all the accessories, guys. As I was saying before, there's the old style sort of waist clamp. I haven't gone with the crotch one like Hot Toys use these days. Now, I have to say straight away, guys, this is my favourite villain in the whole collection. Absolutely stoked to have a Lord of the Rings figure in the collection finally. Just looks awesome. They've captured him really well. Now when you take him out of the box, he's absolutely covered in plastic, which I mentioned earlier. You take that off, all his clothes covering his arms, all this cloth here, it's basically everywhere. It's a bit of a mess. You just have to play around with it, get all the sort of these parts here, so you got loose bits like that, they're all frayed. Got bits in the middle there which I stuck through the legs. They're hard on certain parts of the bottom, like it looks like they've actually been through mud. Looks like paint. But actually gives that feeling like he has been walking through mud. All this mud splatter and weathering throughout the outfit, which looks really good. Multiple layers of clothing. So it took me probably about a good half an hour to start folding things certain ways and tucking in under the armour, so the armour was exposed. So that was one of the cool things about him. You got to see his armour when he was fighting. in the film. Here's the head sculpt, or mask basically. That just looks so cool. Now that head section is a separate piece. You can easily remove the head and put it back on. The cloth and this is all metal die cast. It's quite solid and sharp. Very, very careful of that. So all this is one piece. See, so it doesn't connect up to the rest of the body. It's separate, so you can remove that. But this metal part is connected to the whole sculpt. I don't think you can remove that. All his armour here is plastic. It all seems to be attached to the fabric or the outer fabric. These gauntlet sort of sections, they're loose, they slide over the body. It's absolutely awesome. Now I've got him in that pose. As I was saying, he fights Gandalf or breaks his staff, but I also like the mace look. So I've got a bit of a combination of when he took the mace out and in the extended version with the flame sword. Now he's quite a big guy too. Don't think he'll fit in the detail, especially with this high part of the helmet. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome. Has all the normal articulation you'd expect from a figure. 1/6 scale. You got the shoulder movement, elbow, wrist. He has a sort of ab crunch. You have his hips, knees, feet. Now the only one nitpick I have with it, only letdown, is the joints are quite loose in probably the shoulder and the wrist. Now this guy has to hold up some quite heavy weapons. They're solid metal. So you got this here and the mace down there is very heavy. I didn't think a strong Hot Toys body would even be able to hold that up hanging like this. Of course it's just so heavy. But for some figure like this, to be able to hold those weapons or have these weapons, you would have thought they would have made the joints very stiff just to be able to hold all that. But they haven't. They've just used whatever body, not sure what body they've used. I think it's a caustic plastic body. But I've been able to get it into the pose I want. You just got to play around with it and change the angle of the joints, and it eventually does hold. But if I was to twist that arm right around the other way, it'd probably fall down. So like this one here, sort of resting nicely. If I lift that out, it drops straight away. But if I was to probably twist that around a different angle, then lift it up, it'd probably stay. So you can get the right pose you want, but you just got to do a lot of playing around, and once you move things around, these all start twisting around. You've got to readjust them as well. So overall, epic figure. Absolutely love it. And I got this from Any Market Collectibles online for $150 for a licensed figure. Can't complain about that. Absolutely awesome. So you got all that splatter on the back. Lift this up. This cloth, you got multiple layers under there as well, and the body overall, if you look right under, which it's kind of a bit difficult to show you, right in here under there, seeing the leg, he's covered in like sort of like a spandex sort of cotton stretchy material to cover up the body. So he's got quite a number of layers. You can't see any joints. To me it almost looks like a mini Sideshow PF of this guy. So if you're on the fence about getting it, guys, the price is very good for this figure. I'm sure it will sell out. It's awesome looking. The first one on the line, I think Gothmog is the next one. He's like a white orc. He's the next one that they're going to release. So I'll be looking forward to getting that. For the meantime, this is absolutely awesome. I love it. And you'll be very happy with it. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this review. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye for now.